Hello, welcome to the Etiuda&Anima Film Festival. In a moment we will have a Q&A with four creators of short films. And may I briefly introduce who we have here today. So we have Mickey Paatzsch from Germany, the author of the film Masel Tov Cocktail. Then we have Claudia Scheffel from Germany, the author of the film Amputated Asscheeks. For the film Frontier, we have Damián Vondrášek from Czech Republic. And we have also Andrei Olănescu from Romania with his film A Long Story Short. So we will start with Mickey Paatzsch with Masel Tov Cocktail. I want to ask you a few questions about your film. And Masel Tov Cocktail just gives us a history lesson, and at the same time it raises the awareness about the contemporary perception of the Jew community through the eyes of the main character named Dima. And I have a question for you about what was the biggest challenge for you while you were creating the film, and what was the most difficult ingredient of the recipe?
Okay, I think the biggest challenge was to find a good protagonist, a good Dima, who is on the one side sympathetic person you can rely to, but also can express this anger. And we were searching for a very long time. I know we did a lot of webcastings, and soon we realized, okay, we need a young Jewish actor, not a German actor. So we searched very long, because in Germany there are not so many Jewish actors, especially in this age. And we were very lucky that we find Alexander Wertmann. And I think, this was the biggest challenge.
I am very glad that you answered these questions like that, because I was about to ask you about the actor. He was amazing. He was dynamic. He kept the story interesting and engaging. But my second question will be, how was it to work together with the other director? How did it happen that you both felt so moved by the topic, and how does it refer to your origins?
Arkady Cat is the other director, and in fact he also wrote a script with his girlfriend Merle Kirchhoff. I came later to the project. Me and Arkady, we have been working for 8 years now together. It's our third movie in co-direction, so we had already some experience, and we knew that we harmonize quite good. And in fact, Arkady is the one with the Jewish background. He was collecting notes for a lot of years, where he tried to capture his experience as a Jew in Germany and the reaction of different people on his Jewish identity. So it all started as a collection of those notes, and I think before 2 years, then he started to write down his ideas and to give it like a new form in a script. And then his girlfriend helped him. It's Merle Kirchhoff, the other script director. And then I think at the third version of the script, he called me and asked, hi Mickey, do you want to help me? And I said, okay, Arkady, you are the one with the Jewish background. How can I help you? I think this time you really don't need my help. But then he said, no, please, we have to dramatize the story. We want to yeah, to make a film which criticizes but also is funny and entertains, and I want your help. So because I knew Arkady for such a long time, I was also very sensibilized for this issue, like the Jewish life in Germany. And then I joined, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That's amazing. And in the film, I have that feeling that you kind of redefine the hidden meaning under the stereotypical perception of the word Jew or Jewish, and you show us all that the things that we can't really notice at the first glance. You show kind of the underside of this. And to whom do you mainly target your film? What is your main goal you wanted to achieve?
Yeah, I think one goal was that we wanted to create a new perspective on Jewish life in Germany. It's, in Germany it's a very sensitive issue, like Jewish life, and most movies which talk about this topic, they are always sad, or Jews are presented like victims, and we wanted to change this stereotype around, and we wanted to show an angry Jew who hits back and doesn't want peace with the Germans. And I think, because Dima meets a lot of different archetypical German people, the movie is dedicated to a broad range of different people. I don't think we had really a special group in mind.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for the answer. And my next question is, what are you planning to do next? What are you working on right now? Will it be a film also connected with the topic or something completely different?
Actually, me and Arkady, we moved together this year in April. So we live together in a flat. And we started to write a new script, to do research together. It will be somehow related. We want to make another political movie which has this aspect of fun and speed and dynamic too. I don't really want to talk about the actual topic right now, because it's very early, and we had to do a lot with Masel Tov in the last months. So we are not very forward in the story, but I can maybe say it's again about minority groups in Germany, and this time not only Jews, but we want to broaden the spectrum. And it's a feature film, hopefully.
So great, we will wait for your movie. And I also want to ask you about your film school. Why did you choose that particular one? How did it happen?
Okay, I actually am not on the Filmakademie Baden-Württemberg. It's just Arkady. We studied together on a private school, Makromedia, in Cologne from 2010 to 2013. There we met, and it was quite nice. From there on, we made films together. Then I studied philosophy till 2019. I did my bachelor and master's. And Arkady started to study again film direction at the Filmakademie Baden-Württemberg. I think he tried to visit a lot of schools. He did the casting, but then he decided for Filmakademie because he had the feeling that it was designed to his Bedürfnis, to his needs, because it's focused on like more commercial made movies maybe, and he wanted to do movies with a certain speed, and yeah, he thought he's right there.
Thank you so much for the questions. I think we will move now to Claudia and her movie Amputated Asscheeks. So Claudia, my first question, the first question that popped into my mind after watching your film is, how did you come up with that intriguing, unique idea of mixing these Vietnamese and German worlds and the fantasy with science fiction and gothic elements? Where did you get that ideas from? What was your inspiration?
I think the main thing was actually the title, Amputated Asscheeks, or Amputierte Arschbacken in German. I was joking with a friend about the term Amputierte Arschbacken, and somehow we found that really funny. And then I tried to somehow write about that thing. I knew that the title of the movie had to be Amputierte Arschbacken, and then it was somehow really intentional. The first draft, was really intentional. I wrote it in one session, and I knew that there were a few topics I wanted to tackle. For example, the Vietnamese background of the teenies I'm talking about right there. My mother is also Vietnamese, and it was not really a political statement I wanted to do with the movie, but more a story I was able to tell because of the experience I had, and less a story of migration.
Yeah, so this is a kind of a unique thing that you said the title was actually the first thing, and that's kind of unique. And we have that similar joke in your film, right? That about the amputated asscheeks. Yeah, I really like that. And what about the fantasy and the science fiction? Are you fascinated with those topics? Why did you decide to include those in this movie?
I think that the main intention was not actually to create something fantastic or science fiction or whatsoever, but there were a few things I wanted to tackle in the movie, like, for example, linguisticality. For example, the teenies are talking as well in Vietnamese as in German, and they somehow conjure with their German talking a few things that seem fantastic, like the dragon you're talking about. And then also, I wanted to tell something about the Chinese zodiac sign system, and there is every animal of the zodiac sign in the movie. So it got more and more fantastic, even though the intention was not fantastic at all.
I am glad you mentioned the dragon, because I am about to ask you about it. As we were talking about the symbolic aspects of your movie. So the red dragon, the girl dressed as the dragon in the dream, does it have a special meaning? What does it signify?
Just like I said, I wanted to put all the animals of the Chinese zodiac sign into the movie. And shortly before Long meets the dragon, he has a conversation with his girlfriend, who says that she wants to amputate her ass cheeks. And he tries, no, it's not that he tries, but he somehow mixes up all the things that come to his mind and that people talked about earlier at the party, and now his girlfriend the other girls at the party talked about the Chinese zodiac sign. Now his girlfriend talks about plastic surgery and amputated Asscheeks, and so he mixes all those things up and conjures them, and they, he meets them.
And also, I paid attention to your representation of this Vietnamese young society in this movie, and this kind of contrast between the old and new generation, for example, visible in the scene with the grandpa and the iPhone. And can you elaborate on this? Why did you decide to show some kind of a contrast?
Mm-hmm. I think that there's a huge gap between young German Vietnamese people and the older generation. To that, I maybe have to say that it might be quite interesting that there's a term in Vietnamese for foreign Vietnamese people living abroad, and that's Viet Kieu. Which means that a lot of Vietnamese people actually live abroad. And especially in Germany, there are two groups of Vietnamese people that came to Germany a few years ago. That is on the one side, people from northern Vietnam who came to the former GDR and had a working exchange with Germany and worked in Germany. And on the other side, there were also Vietnamese refugees who were often from the southern part of Vietnam and came to Germany, but not the GDR part, but the western part of Germany. And there's still a big discrepancy between those two groups inside of Germany, from a divided country in Vietnam. And somehow there's this two-pole conflict between them, but there's also a conflict between the older generation, who is at the one side from southern part of Vietnam and on the other side from the northern part of Vietnam. Yeah, and this comes all together in our generation that is mixed up in one whole Germany, in two poles of Vietnamese people in one reunited Germany. I don't know if that seems plausible. That might be.
Yeah, this is a very interesting approach, I would say. And I also want to ask you about, because in the first sequence of the movie, we have a few scenes that are shot from the perspective of windows, that we see two people walking outside the window, and at the same time we see what is happening inside the room. And I really like those, and I want to ask you, was this your idea to shoot it like that, or was it inspired by someone else?
No, that was actually my idea, because one thing I wanted to tackle with the movie, or actually the main thing I wanted to tackle, was a form of distraction. Everybody in the movie is somehow distracted by something and does not focus on their main thing. I don't know. And yes, we also shot a version of the movie 5 years before. And there, like I already said, the main thing was distraction by stimulus satiations. And we planned all the sequences and the scenery, and we had no cuts inside of the movie. But then I realized that we had to do another movie with cuts, because I wanted to create a speed through cuts and not speed through letting the actors run or something. And the camera, to your question again, is totally distracted by things that seem more interesting than the things that actually happen right now. And so there came this vampire story also, with the shots through the windows.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. So at the end, what are your plans for a next film? Are you doing something right now?
Yes, I just started my master at the University of Fine Arts in Hamburg. And I'm currently working on a few projects, For example, also my first feature film. But I also write a novel right now. My first novel will get published at the end of this year. And so those are the things I'm working right now on.
So you're quite busy working on new things.
Yeah.
That's so good to hear, actually. Okay, thank you so much. And now let's move to another person. Let's move to Damián Vondrášek from Czech Republic, who came to us, metaphorically, of course, with his film Frontier. Hi. And the first question, this movie touches a very important, although difficult topic. And what was your inspiration, your motive? What message you want to send via your movie?
Hi. Well, I think by the time I was creating the script and the whole idea, I was just horrified by the whole so-called refugee crisis. And I felt like I need to comment on it. But at the same time, I don't really have the previous experience with political film. So for me, my task was to find the right balance and to build character-driven and personal story on the background of the migration situation in Europe right now. And of course, my goal was to say how this whole situation is just surreal, but from the point of view of the people who protect the borders.
And was the story inspired by some real events? Was it a fiction or an inspiration by something that really happened?
Well, it's not one particular event, but these things happen very often, definitely in Czech Republic, and I'd say maybe in the whole Europe, since the Czech Republic is not the target country most of the time. There's a big transit migration, and by the time we were creating it in the news, it was like 3 times a week that they discovered some hidden group of refugees. And I think it's still happening, and nothing has changed. Just the public attention moved to some other topic.
And how did you actually know how the work of these border guards look like? Did you examine it somehow? Did you go there and watch them? How do they control people?
Yeah, we had quite a big research on this, and we also consulted with, it's not a border patrol, but there are like duties, officers, and we had some consultations on how they behave in these situations.
And how long did it take to shoot the movie and to prepare the information, the research? As you said, the research took quite long. How long did it take at all?
Well, in total, I'd say it was more than a year. Of course, the big part of it was the funding and then also casting, because we decided to find authentic main character for the father character. And even though in film you can work with some sort of an illusion, we decided we need an actual Arabic actor to have some connection with the topic. And so we were looking pretty much all over the Europe for him.
I'm happy that you mentioned the casting because I was about to ask you, was the other main actor who played the guard, like, is he a famous actor in your country, or did you just look for him in other ways?
Well, in general, in casting, I prefer to work with not that much exposed actors, but of course they're professional, sort of famous, of course, but they're not that much, how to say, in top 10, let's say, in terms of public interest in Czech Republic. Marian is a great actor, and he's actually from Slovakia, and he came to join us. I really like his appearance, and we worked a lot on the character together because we wanted it to be like really minimalistic and still to work his character the way that you can actually go with him, and even though he's not that positive character in the beginning, that you can still empathize with him.
It is a great thing because he was amazing. We can just really felt it through the screening that he was real and authentic. What would you say was the biggest challenge when you were filming and working on the scenario? What was the most difficult?
Well, I think I mentioned it already in a way. For me, it was the balance. Because, as I said, I don't have previous experience with the political film. And even though this is character-driven, it also touches quite important political topic. But I wanted it to be about subtle personal stories about one situation and not just about some sort of political statement.
And what are you planning to do next? What are your plans for your next movie? Will it be connected also with political topics or something completely different?
I think I'll try something different. I'm working on 2 projects right now, mainly. One is a short film, and the script is already finished. So we're getting closer to actual production, and it's a story about young boys who are going through some sort of an initiation rite or ritual into a gang. And then I also have my first feature film in preparation.
Great. And my last question will be about the film school, your film school. Why did you choose that particular one, and how is it?
Well, I'm currently in the last year on FAMU in Prague. And well, I was born in Prague, and the school has a big history. You know, the whole new wave and Miloš Forman, Agnieszka Holland. So it was a natural decision to go there. And I also followed the teachers, because some of the teachers are actually filmmakers that I was, how to say, following before I decided to apply. I like their films. And I'd say FAMU is a great school. We have a lot of freedom, but a lot of support when you ask for it.
Yeah, this is great, and it is great that you can work with people whose work actually you respect. And yeah, I think this is very important. Thank you so much. Let's move to the last person, who will be Andrei Olanescu. I hope I pronounced your name right, but if not, please correct me, because I wasn't sure.
Yes.
I did it right. Okay, that's great, amazing. So yeah, long story short, my first question is the first question that popped into my mind after watching your film. Why a snail? What or who does this creature represent in your movie? And can it be like any of us humans who are making a journey of our lives? Can you elaborate on it a little bit?
First of all, it was an exam for my university. The theme was what does a creature hears during his fall in love? And the first idea was a boy and a girl, but I said it's not, it's too simple. And I thought something about Kafka, something about a bag or a creature, but after some ideas, I decided that a snail would be a good choice. And even that, it was a joke in the beginning. I didn't think it would be something very important for me in the end.
So you tell us a story about a journey, because the snail goes on a journey and then he comes back. He enters love. He's looking in the mirror. What does it mean? Can we create a parallel between this and our lives?
Yes. The film it's divided in three parts. The first one is the born, or the go out of your shell, or of your home, even that. So the snail is a man, but to be a man, he needs to live, and so he decided to go in the world to visit places, and to meet a strange mirror in the end. And that moment is the moment of revelation, the moment when the snail thinks that he's not just a snail, he's more than a snail. He's conscious that he's a snail, but he can do something more important in his life. So the final part is the dream of the snail, and that was the hardest shooting ever. I mean, the dream, I didn't know how to make the entire scene for a snail or even a human. It's pretty hard to concentrate a poetic image or anything like that. So, in the end, the snail decided that it's lonely. After the moment of love, he's again lonely. And that's the human condition, in my opinion. After this entire life with happy and sad moments, everything is again sad.
That's a great metaphor. It's very unique, a unique approach towards our human journey. And I want to ask you about some technical things. How did the shooting of your movie look like? Was it like one snail that you were moving from place to place, or maybe were there more these creatures? How did you film it?
Well, I think that the first thought is that I was in the park for the shooting. Well, I didn't. I mise en scène on my table in my room. I put some grass, a mirror, camera, and that's all. And everything you saw, it's made in my room with light from oh, I don't have the word. Um, there is a moment in the film when the snail cross a light. Well, that light is my phone, actually. And
So
I shoot a lot for this film, but sorry.
I was just about to ask you, how long did it take? Because it's a snail, it's an animal, so you didn't know how would it behave. So how long did it take to actually have this, desired image?
3 to 5 days, something like that.
That's quite a lot, taking into consideration that it is a snail. Wow, this is amazing. And I also paid attention to the music you used in your video. It is a beautiful, sublime composition. Can you tell something more about it? Who's the author? Where did you take it from?
Well, in the beginning, I had something from the internet, and I didn't like the music. So I go to a composer, and I told him that I want something to be a portrait of a human, or even like a journey of the human in the life. So that was the beginning and the leitmotif for our score. And after, I think, 2 weeks, he made that that score for the film.
It is the music is striking, beautiful. It really adds a lot to the story. So what are your plans for the future, for your next film? Will you make something similar with other animals maybe, or you will just think about something completely different?
Long story short, actually, I used deer in the next project. This one is the story about a 20-year-old boy who meets his father for the first time. So they decided to go in the forest during the winter, hunting the deers. So they tried to know each other because they didn't met for 20 years.
That sounds also touching and beautiful. And my last question will be about your film school. Why did you decide to choose that one, and how do you like it?
Personal question, I think. Well, in Romania, my university is top, I think, for cinema or for actors. And in the beginning, I didn't want to be a director from the start. I mean, I wanted to be an architecture also, and I would say that I wanted to be an architecture and a director in the same way, but it was too much for me. So Untitled was the best opportunity, in my opinion. And there are other universities, but they're not so experienced.
Thank you. Thank you so much for answering my questions. Okay, thank you all for being there. Although online, it was amazing to talk to you and to hear these interesting things about your films. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next Q&As. Thank you.
Nada